Hi, everybody. Today is August 27th. This is the Wednesday CalPads Q&A. My name is Alex Thandi, and I'm a data analyst at CSIS supporting CalPads. Driving for us today is going to be Mr. Matt Clark. Moving on to announcements. Flash 311. So that just came out yesterday, and it talks about LTELs, long-term English learners. It talks about the different definitions, what is currently available in CalPads, and any future enhancements that we're working on are in the works for LTEL information. So again, that's Flash 311. Next up is that CSIS is off on Monday because of Labor Day. I'm assuming you're likely off too, but just in case you're working for some reason, just know that the service desk service desk is closed. You can still submit a ticket, but we just won't answer until the next day. Regional meetings. The regional meetings are coming fast. So the first regional meetings for 25-26 academic year are happening in just 2 weeks. So a reminder to register if you haven't already, and Matt is giving us the page there where you can register for, that's September 9th and September 10th. And next up is Fall 1 trainings. So we've been talking about this, but just want to remind folks, we're no longer using Bridge. You can go to our CSIS website and click on professional learning at the top, and it'll bring you to this page, and you can register for trainings that way. Okay. I think that's it for me. Matt, speaking of announcements, do you want to say yours?
Yes, thank you. So we did announce the new training registration website in Flash 309, and we did announce that the Fall 1 courses were up on the site a few weeks ago. But we have had quite a bit of demand for our courses. So the first instance of data population, advanced, and reporting and certification are now sold out. We do have remaining seats for both advanced and reporting and certification in the second session that we'll be holding, but the data population sessions have been sold out for both of the planned sessions that we had scheduled. So in response to the high demand, we did schedule a third session of the data population content for Fall 1 for you guys. That will be taking place on September 18th, 2025. And this does have the same max capacity, so there should be quite a bit more seats for any folks who were looking to attend Fall 1 data population, but weren't able to register with the initial 2 sessions.
Angela, do you have any announcements?
Matt's anticipating my needs there. He's jumping ahead to the active and fixed note issues for the release items that went in yesterday, and that was all I had today, Alex.
Alrighty. Sean, CD?
None from us. Thank you.
Okay. Dominic, I don't know if he's available now. Okay.
No, thank you. Yes, I left the other meeting. Nothing specific to share right now, but I do have all of the information for all of the Fall Roadshow hosts and all of that. And so we expect to have the CDE website updated soon with all of that information, and then we can distribute that to everybody.
Alrighty. I believe that's it for announcements then. We're going to get started with our questions, and starting off with Shelly from Hacienda La Puente. Question 1 says, for Fall 2, are we able to report a high school special day class teacher with no students? If yes, how? Do I need a ticket? There is an FAQ on special day classes and how to report teachers. And I don't want to, I don't know if I'm misremembering, if you can report those teachers as pull in, push out. We'll see. It may be under special education. I don't know if that's too general of a term, but yeah, it'd be Fall 2. Scroll down a little bit more, Matt.
Are you looking for the course enrollment completion questions?
No, there's one that talks specifically about how to report special education staff.
I tried special day classes and
Yeah.
special education staff as the keywords, and I wasn't able to come up with anything yet.
Well, try resource, Matt,
Resource?
or RSP.
Oh,
But all of them I'm saying have students, or they would need to report. So I guess I wanted to more understand why is it a special day class, but they don't have students? Or, because it sounds like they're not the teacher of record then.
Shelley says it is not an RSP teacher. We got a misassignment for that. Matt, can you expand all and then search, do Control F for
special day?
special day?
We got 4 hits.
Because Shelley, if they're not the teacher of record, why are you reporting them? I guess that's my bigger question.
Go to roadmap has that section too.
Thank you, Karen.
This section, Kyron, how to report special education assignments?
Yes.
That's the one I think is that from the FAQ? I think so.
I believe so, right?
Yeah. But so in that, the first chunk there says special day classes can be reported one of two ways. And I don't know if you are elementary or secondary.
There are TK through 12.
I think
High school
generally
district.
special day classes are taught in a self-contained environment, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we need to take it to understand a little bit more about this specific teacher and why they don't have students attached. Because it sounds like more they should be in a supporting role versus an actual course role then.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And Shelley's saying that she is a special day class teacher that co-teaches in the general ed class. Okay. And she'll put in a ticket. Okay. Thank you, Shelley. Thanks, everybody. Moving on to Rigoberto, question 1. May we clarify whether gen ed students need to have the interim removal to alternative setting populated, or is this field only ever utilized for students with disabilities? Should a gen ed student who is removed to an interim alternative setting have the field marked as yes? We see there are validations for SPED students, but no requirements in the file specs. I don't know that that's...
It's specific to students with disabilities.
Yeah.
Well, that's correct, Nate.
That in the
And
SERS
so if you
file?
put it on there, I believe you get an error.
The sync, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, and so Rigoberto, it's not required for gen ed students. It's required for special education students for the federal calculation reasons.
And Rigoberto, I see your question too, but I'm going to go on to Heidi from SDUSD. Question 1 says how to report ELAP, the LEAP file 194. So that is a new file that's coming up with the year-end rollover, and that's scheduled September 9th. So once the rollover happens in CALPADS, that file will become available for consumption, and you'll be able to submit that LEAP file. And we do have a flash on that. 305? Yeah, September 9th is the magical day. Next, we have Rebecca from Lancaster. Question 1 says, are any transactions required to upload to CALPADS when a SPED student we had left in August of last year and moved out of state, then returns to us? Meaning to manually add adopted plan and services records from the out-of-state district. Last meeting held by us was March 6, 2024. And Audrey oh yeah, go for it.
Sorry.
Go for it, Dominic.
Audrey's correct. If a meeting was held and the student was still receiving services out of state, you would want to make sure to adopt that meeting. I believe in SACE, as Audrey stated, there's the initial CALPADS affirm, and they should have documentation on how to do that. And then once you have entered in that IEP, you could adopt it if you need to make any changes to the plan, as far as if you're providing services in different settings or whatever might change in the plan. You just want to adopt that to reflect what actually is going to be provided to the student in your LEA. Audrey also added, which is also correct, you want to make sure that there is a meet record in CALPADS that reflects that the meeting was held, reflects any meetings that were held out of state for timeline purposes. I'm not sure if SACE will send up the meet record when adopting an out-of-state IEP. I've been out of that game too long. So you'll want to make sure that there is a plan, there are services, and a meet record all reflected in CALPAD.
Rebecca comments that said, just can't see if there was an IEP from the out-of-state since it's not in CALPADS.
Sure, you can reach out to the out-of-state LEA or talk to the parent. There's a few avenues you can pursue to try to get that information.
All righty. Thank you. Moving on to Catherine from Sonora Elementary. Q1 says, on the new CENR reports, what is the date on column AW and AX? And will there be a training to understand these reports? Thank you. The CENR is an extract. I don't know. Matt, if you go to the functionality, and yeah, in the user manual, functionality map, and then extract, and then cumulative enrollment, I mean, we won't see AW or AX, unfortunately, but I can assume they're at the very end. Catherine, do you want to let us know what the actual column names are? Well, I guess your actual question is, will there be training to understand these reports? I don't know that we have any training specific to this.
We will be updating this page of the CALPADS user manual with the guidance, the updated guidance for the CENR file. And if it does change things to, more than just an intuitive extent, we will release a training video, a short training video to go over the change.
Okay. That's good. In the meantime, Catherine, if you want to submit a ticket, we can help you that way too. Take a look at that. Okay, we're going to move on to Jennifer Q1. Can you confirm if the CALPADS EOI rollover will take place on September 9th and whether a flash update has already been sent out? So confirming on the date, I don't know about the flash. Is that a Sean question?
I don't believe we've had a flash out yet, but we should expect one shortly.
That's correct. And then also the information will be presented at regionals as well too, since we're tying into each other all at the same time that day.
Okay. Terry from Irvine, question 1. We attempted to perform a local foster match using both the SSID and case ID. However, the student could not be found in the system. Could you please provide guidance on how to proceed in cases where a student is not found despite having both identifiers? Are there common reasons why a student may not appear in a local match despite having a valid SSID and case ID? Any additional steps or alternative methods LEAs could follow or should follow to locate and confirm foster status would be appreciated.
Yes. The first item is to identify whether or not that student actually qualifies as a foster youth per the federal definitions for CALPADS. Okay. And so the way you can do that is by reaching out to the social worker. You already have the case ID and the case number, their client ID and the case number there. So I'm pretty sure you would probably have the social worker's name and phone number. If not, you can coordinate with your foster youth liaison for your district or LEA with a charter school. And that way, once you identify that they are and you're still not finding that student, then yes, you can put in a ticket. But there are numerous reasons exactly why that student may or may not qualify. Just because a student is placed into a foster placement does not automatically qualify them for the guidelines within CALPADS for that. And where you can find those, I believe they're in the user manual under foster youth, but if not, they're on the CDE website under foster youth.
If I can add, I think it's also important to understand that we don't look at foster youth as a program, and all the services that you may provide foster students isn't tracked through CALPADS. It's primarily there for LCFF. And so if you go to the LCFF FAQs, it might be under the section on duplicated students. I'm not sure, but
It is.
there's a definition of who qualifies for LCFF and is counted as foster youth and who is not. And so to Sean's point, identifying the different placements, but more importantly, the reason why a student may not be counted would be spelled out there. If you tried the matching process and the student has a case ID or a client ID, it's most likely they don't qualify for LCFF. So that's a place you can reference, and then go from there. Perhaps you need to do further digging, or perhaps that answers all your questions.
Thank you, Nate.
Jennifer, I see your question 2. We're going to skip it and come back to it. Ethan, question 1. Can we update the data discrepancy screen to load into 25-26 by default instead of 24-25? I think that's part of the rollover, right?
Correct.
Okay. September 9th will be a great day. Lots happening.
Great day to have a regional.
Right. Moving on. Oh, Catherine, we have a Q2. Circle back. Yadira, question 1. How do I report a teacher who is now an intern social worker? Is that a
Which role are
certificated
they
position?
filling now? I guess is the question. Are they serving as a teacher right now, or are they serving as the social worker? I guess that would be the key identification and for that you probably need to best understand with your HR team, what contracts have they signed for the 25-26 school year? What are they contractually designated as for your LEA? If they're a teacher of record, then they should be recorded as a teacher of record. If they are a pupil services staff member, then they should be recorded as a pupil services staff member.
Moving on to Cindy. Question 1 says, I have a student that went to school from September 6, 2022 to June 6, 2025 at a school in Virginia. The student attended kinder last year in Virginia, but our school doesn't have a start date from the parents. How should we go about recording the U.S. school K-12 date? And then adds on, says student wasn't 5 in 2022. It would be whenever they attended kinder, or TK or kinder, right? That would be the date for that field. So if they attended last year, then I would put last year's date on there.
Also, this field may not be required if the student's not an English learner. or a foreign-born student. If it's EO student, I don't think it's a required field.
That's what I was gonna say, Nate, because it has the requirement of in the field. And then to get the date though, you would reach out to the prior LEA and request a records request from that school district, whether they're in state or out of state. And that's just so you can best overall serve the child.
Rigoberto, I see your question 2. Circle back. Padma, question 1. Are we having any issues in getting the SSID manually for a single student? The birth country and state are not being filled and grayed out. Am I doing something wrong? I haven't heard of any issues for that. Matt is checking our known issues.
I don't see
saw
any.
people getting them in online maintenance today. What were you gonna say, Matt?
No, sorry. Go ahead, Angela.
Oh, it was working sometime today.
Yeah, I got one for a user earlier today. It worked fine. I had to put in the birth country, state, and city. Everything worked fine.
I would say, Padma, try one more time. If you're still getting those fields grayed out, if you could take a screenshot of it and send us a ticket, that would be great.
I would just say that, Padma, normally when my kids ask me if something's broke and it hasn't been broke by anybody else, it's their fault. So just saying you broke it.
We won't charge you. It's okay.
Your kids must love that, Nate.
It's a fact of, Angela, I go on vacation, I come back to stuff that's got to be replaced and fixed.
She could try clearing her browser cache too and cookies just in case.
That's true.
Yeah, or submit a ticket. We're here to help.
Alrighty, moving on. Maritza, question 1. I have a question regarding the data submitted to EDCS. We are currently uploading files for students who qualify through August 31st, 2025. These students qualify for 2024 and 2025 Sunbucks. After August 31st, should we only upload data from July 2025 to present? I want to make sure this is correct because the file is a replacement file. Matt has Flash 307 up.
I tried to use the dates as key terms and didn't come up with anything so far.
Yeah. Oh, Laura. Laura responded saying, Paula said to do a full replacement. I reloaded all my data. Okay. I think I don't feel confident giving you an answer on EDCS, so maybe submitting a ticket. I don't know if they have a direct support email, but if you don't find one at the end of that flash, then you can submit one to us and we can escalate it.
Flash 297 says that the EDCS files are full replacement. That makes me believe you should submit the files complete and not try to kind of fragment your files. You should submit the complete data as is.
That's correct. I'm sorry. I was on mute and I couldn't find the mute button from Nate's last.
And I was in the wrong flash. Okay, here we're in the right one. There's the August 31st date.
Okay. Yeah, so it is a full replacement file. So whatever you're correcting will overwrite whatever's there before. So yes, please submit the file in its entirety.
Okay. Thank you. And Kareem chimed in saying the same thing. EDCS submissions for 24-25 will end in December. So any submissions now only count for 24-25. You continue to append new applications to your existing file. All right. Thank you, everyone. Cindy says, good to know. Thank you. Right. That makes sense. And Padma says, I can't post the screenshot. I have it. Okay. Yeah, no, not here. If you are going to submit a ticket, if you can just attach it to the ticket, and then we can see what you're seeing. So we're going to circle back up now. I think that's all question 1. So question 2 from Rigoberto says, similar to my Q1, should the incident result authority code be populated for gen ed students or only students with disabilities who are suspended or expelled? We see from the file specs that it is required for special education students, but no validation.
For the incident result authority, I believe is required for all students, not just special education students, because the options there let you know who's suspending him, whether it is so Rigoberto, this is where you use the CFS and the code set. And so it would probably be useful if you have both of those versions like open side by side. So you can see a drop down of what's allowable to be placed into itemized fields. So the authority type, I believe there are 3 of them there, and it ties directly into that CFS field, or 4 of them, sorry, thank you. And so typically it's going to be the 10, but for other reasons, you may have one of the other, the other 3 allowable codes besides just 10, but that information should all be filled out for you within your SIS as well too by the administrators, because those are the people that have the official right to suspend a student. And so whether it's on a paper form and someone is entering it into your SIS system, or whether it is entered into your SIS system by that administrator, that's information that only that administrator be able to provide to you.
And now we go on to Jennifer's Q2. Says we have a student whose parents declined SPED and FAPE. Since there was no consent to assess, no evaluation was done, and no offer of FAPE was made. Do we still need to log this in CALPADS?
No, and if you don't have consent to assess, you would not have likely posted a pending record. But Audrey added a very important point. If the student had been receiving services on an IFSP, and this was going to be a Part B initial for a student turning 3 years old, you want to make sure to add the status that the student is not eligible because there was no consent for Part C to B. However, if they were not on an IFSP, then you don't need to add anything.
Question 2 from Catherine. Did you say that CSIS is no longer available for training? Can we get a new link, please?
Ooh, no, we didn't say that, Catherine. We have implemented a new training registration page that doesn't have user limits or onerous account creation processes or anything like that. So we're actually hoping that that expands the LEA view to CALPADS training through CSIS. So our training registration site is showing on the screen here. I'm going to ask Marshall to get that link in chat as well. It's csis.fcmat.org/csis-training. And we have all of our Fall 1 courses currently listed. As I was saying in the announcements towards the beginning of the session, we have sold out of the first instance of each of the Fall 1 courses, but we do have seats remaining in successive iterations. So all of our Fall 1 training material is currently available to register for in the live format. We're also going to be leading with the YouTube training videos before the live videos this session. So we will have those out to you by September 2nd this year. Thank you for the question,
Yeah.
Catherine.
I know. That's, one of our main things is we do the training. So definitely still doing that. Selena, Q1. Is there a file that will pull all the student addresses so we can do a comparison to what is in our SIS? Is that the cumulative enrollment that has that?
The SIM file will do it too.
Oh, Synth. And the ODS extracts. Yeah, I don't think we list the fields, but it's essentially the same layout as the SIM file. Yeah. Okay. Ethan, question 2. Are there legal reasons to not include most recent address or parent guardian name info from Synth on the SSID matched results file? Could we add those?
Yes, there are legal reasons not to include it. That's in the FAQ, Matt, for just not including parent information. I don't know if it says omit. It doesn't say the word omitting. It says, or type address. I know it talks about for like safety reasons, basically. It's there. I don't know where it out. So, Ethan, yes, there are legal reasons why. I mean, not legal reasons, but there are safety reasons why that address may not be listed there. Then I just my name was one from the SSID match results. I'm sorry, what do you mean by can we list them there? Like, do we have a way to identify, like, I guess you're asking, do we have a drop down to state why that student's address is omitted? And to answer that part of the question, no, we don't. I don't know. Angela, does that get logged as a ticket then for a possible review of the code? I mean, a possible addition to the code set and file?
I think Ethan might be asking if it's possible to add the most recent address as matching criteria in the SSID match tool. I do see some potential privacy and security issues with that. Angela, did you want to expand?
I don't know if we want to include it because then if the kid moves, it would be like a false, we wouldn't be able to match that. And go for it, Angela, if you've got something to add. If anybody else is reading this question differently too. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, he's still typing. So I'm still reading.
On the results file.
Yeah,
Once-
I think
once
it's
you-
just to verify the match. He's asking, can
Mhm.
the address be there?
So not
Okay.
match on it, but just
No.
included as a just
Another
more
column.
information. It is
Mhm.
part of your investigation. Got it. Oh, you could put in a ticket, Ethan, and I could do a little more digging and see if there's. So, Sean, you think it's legal reasons? We don't include
No,
the
that was the
address?
first part. That was because I was reading the question differently. I think it would create a false positive then because say if another family moved into that address or so, then that student's no longer like at that address. They're at a different, they've moved and they've rightfully moved. And so then are we matching then on the actual correct student?
Yeah, but if you could look at it the other way too, Sean, though, right? If it is the right address, it's like, okay, I'm for sure now. This kid has a really common name, but this is the last address they have that I have on file that matches that. So, it could be helpful in determining the right student.
Yeah.
If they're trying to match me during my high school days, it would have made it easier.
Exactly. Yeah, the Matt Clarks out there. So Ethan, ask for me in your ticket and I'll see what I can find for you.
Kareem, question 1. Why is 24-25 dropout data certified in fall 1 and not 24-25 end of year? Can I get a quick summary of how it's used?
I could do this one.
All right, go for it.
I'm excited about it.
Okay.
And I'm rarely excited, but well, end of year closes before the dropout grad cycle finishes. We align the cohort with the dropout graduate cycle, but end of year actually there's a week, so there's a potential for summer grads, maybe not many, but there's going to be summer graduates not counted at the end of year. And so they've always graduates and dropouts were always part of fall 1, but in particular for dropouts, it's good to give them that time because they might re-enroll too. That's another factor of a student who's a dropout is they can re-enroll by census day and not be counted as a dropout even if they left. So like lost transfers that are not 12th graders, 9th graders that might come up missing in April and show up in September, they're not going to be counted as a dropout. But if they don't show up by September, they may be the following year. So that's from the data guide, which is a little bit outdated, but it still has relevant information.
Thank you, Nate. If anyone else is super excited to answer any questions, please just jump in.
Like when the teacher asks a question and you only know one answer, you get to raise your hand.
Participation points. You're done, Nate. Thank you.
I might be able to excitedly answer the next one, Alan.
All right. All right. So let me. Oh, and then Kareem did have a follow-up. He says, that makes sense. Thank you, Nate. That will likely change for the 25-26 with the end of year changes. I don't know.
I think he's talking about the consolidation of end of year 2,
Mhm.
3, and 4. And that hasn't been discussed to my knowledge, and I don't foresee that being changed.
Right.
But what do I know?
You know about dropouts for fall 1. So, okay. Yeah, so if there are going to be changes, we will definitely communicate that. But as of now, it looks like it'll still be the same. Dropouts will be counted for fall 1. All right, so Stephanie from Lodi, question 1 says, is there a way to unregister from a CSIS training session? I'd like to change dates for one of the fall 1 trainings.
All right.
Matt? Yeah.
So I can't excitedly answer training questions. This one, though, is a bit of an interesting one because I got messages this morning from our IT folks saying we're planning on implementing training cancellation today. So as I navigate to the site, I'm not sure whether the cancellation has been implemented. So let me check real quick.
Like breaking news here.
It is breaking. Okay, the cancellation button is not there yet. So starting likely tomorrow, there will be a cancel option in these registration forms. We're asking that until that happens, you email me directly with your training cancellations, and I will put my email address in chat here. Oh, submitting a ticket works as well.
All right, Shelley, question 2. To Ethan's question 2. The results file does include residential and mailing address if they are in CALPADS. All right, so I guess that takes care of that enhancement request. Okay. Let us know. I mean, I suppose, Ethan, if you were looking for something different, you'd still, oh my God, they do. Yeah. Okay, well, happy that that worked out. And Kareem, question 2, I think we addressed already. So unless Kareem, you still have questions or need clarification, let us know. Are we done? I'm gonna wait just in case people are typing.
Alex, that's not a question we ask anymore.
So I know we're not supposed to do this, but Colleen in chat said she's on her phone and she accidentally typed it in the chat box. She can't get it over to the Q&A box because she's working on a mobile device. So I'll go ahead and read her question 1 from the chat box, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Q1 from Colleen. Should initial U.S. school enrollment date be the first date of TK or KN if both are listed in CalPADS as enrollments? This will impact LTEL calculations, so I want to be sure I understand.
So it doesn't impact LTEL calculations until that 7th year, I think it is, and we've gone round and round about that one. AMART is putting out information that is still to come. We won't know that full impact. I think it was like 7 years was the count or so. Should the information, the HLS is encouraged to be collected in TK, and that is from Flash to 95, maybe, Matt? No, 90s is kind of to 85. I had it earlier. Oh, I think I still have it. Hold on.
285 is TK in the LPAC?
There you go.
All right.
And so it is still encouraged to be collected at the child's first time of enrollment. And so we detail out that letter also went out on June 20th, 2024 to all county superintendents and charter school administrators. If they have a subsequent HLS that is identifying something different, which you can't put into, I don't think you can put into TBD statuses. Like, you have to work with that other LEA to get it removed. So was that Colleen that asked the question, you said?
Yeah.
So
From Cottonwood Schools.
okay. So Colleen, you would need to be able to work that out.
And I think the CFS provides a definition that explicitly calls it the TK through 12 date.
Mhm.
You're right, mate.
I have an annotation button that's hiding one of the arrows in this
And
spreadsheet.
that is because the student can still receive intervention services prior to kindergarten if they're enrolled with you all.
Okay. We have another question from Leah at San Diego. Question 1 says, for the 15.1 and 15.2 accountability reports, are there plans to include CTE completion status, which is currently a report filter, but as a field in the reports? And I want to say we've talked about it. I don't know if we have plans to add it.
I don't think there's anything in the backlog, no.
Sorry, Leah. For now, it's just a filter. 15.2 is already a beast of a report, but for now, it's still just a filter. Roberto, question 4, a follow-up to the question 2, says, I now understand authority code should be populated required for suspensions and expulsions, not other means of correction. If this is the valid code combos, my apologies. Yeah. I think on that CFS, on the required column, it tells you it's only, it's required for suspensions, in-school suspensions, and expulsions. So I don't know that you would trigger an error if you were to submit it with other results, but you must submit it at least with those 3. I'm gonna wait a little bit more while people maybe are typing questions. Hopefully people have great plans for the long weekend, get to do something fun.
There are no questions coming in. If you'd like to send any recipes our way, we do like to have potlucks here.
This is true.
Yeah.
I say we call it.
Alrighty.
Sounds great.
Have a great long weekend.